We're speaking to Marene, a music artist. Now, the song Finchy was released on 25th July. And thank you guys for making this time. I know as a music artist, you guys is super busy. So thank you for making this time with us.
Oh, thank you very much. We aren't just musicians, we also work day jobs. So, you got to make money to make music. And so it's great to be here outside of the working hours and doing what we love.
Absolutely. Now, just to give us the listeners just a background about you guys.
Yeah, of course. So Marene, in my mind, is the band that I never got to see live. It's the band that most of us never got to see live because obviously in South Africa the music scene is a specific way, and we look at YouTube videos as kids, as the Gen Z generation. We watch videos of stars who used to perform like these really amazing shows. So for a while we grappled with the idea and we tried to figure out like what do we want, and we decided to focus on the show aspect of the band. So and in a recent article we were described in a lovely way that I feel it resonates quite well with us, where we are described as theatrical alt rock because we focus on the theatrics, on the show, on the sparks on stage. On our recent show we had like smoking bubbles. It was like something that you don't see at a regular show. So we love to tap into that whimsical part of a show.
Yes, and
speaking of the smoking bubbles, basically it was a bubble machine that threw bubbles over the crowd, but before it shot the bubble out of the machine, it inserted the bubble with smoke, so that when the bubble popped, it went into a thing of smoke.
Yeah.
And so we played this super heavy metal festival with an amazing crowd. They were awesome. But it's not every day you get to see what's deemed as the most hardcore community reaching out, jumping up and trying to pop bubbles in the air. It was really, surreal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fantastic. And going back to what you were saying about Finchy being released, Finchy is the new single of the new EP called Never Mine. And it sort of describes the story of what it's like to be young again and experience sort of almost, I could say, that good old teenage sort of love story, and the song was written when I was 17, and it took about 8 years or 9 years to finally get released. But through that time period, we've done some amazing work to it. We turned it from a 17-year-old song into I would say it's one of our masterpieces. It's really like one of the best productions we've done on a song. It's got keys, it's got strings, it's got acoustic guitars, it's got electric guitars, it's got like 30 different backing vocals. There's a key change at the end. It's really big, and it's really the culmination of what we've done in the past and what we want to do in the future.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you guys is bringing like something completely different to the rock industry, like you guys mentioned the theatrical and stuff. It's something like that because it at the end of the day it helps to tell that music, through the lyrics and stuff. It helps build up that storyline basically. So that's remarkable of bringing that in.
Thank you. Yeah, we describe ourselves on stage. We say, "Hi, we are Marene, and we want to give you something you've never seen." And the reason for that is, like Marene said, we never, or we still don't get a lot of touring bands through South Africa, and so, especially a lot of the old legacy bands that used to put on these huge, massive stadium shows. And so we said, our generation's never seen anything like that, so let's do it. Let's be that band.
Yeah, and I must say, I haven't experienced something like that, because I can just imagine the smoke in these bubbles, and you as they pop, it's like the smoke effect.
I think as even going to local shows, we were kind of disappointed in a lot of bands. You go see them live, they look like they just got out of bed and walked up on stage with their flip-flops and their shorts, and it's a case of I'm just here on stage and there's no difference between being in the crowd and being on the stage. Whereas we see the stage as a sacred place. It's the place where the performance starts.
Yeah.
So when we get on the stage, we're in character, we're dressed up. The way I speak on stage is completely different to the way I'm speaking to you now. Because there's nothing worse than you're sitting there in the crowd, you're anticipating the band, and the front man comes on and he goes, "Hi guys, so today I'm going to play a song for you. It goes like this."
Yes.
You want the front man to be a hype man. So I go and say, "Hey, how you guys doing tonight? You guys having a good time? All right," whatever.
Yes.
Why? Because that's what you want. People want to get excited. And as a front man, it's important that you give of yourself, because the more energy you put into the crowd, the more energy they give you back, which means you can give more energy back. And it's kind of this tug of war that you play with the crowd the entire night. You pull my energy, I pull your energy, and at the end of the night, we've got, a lot of explosions of energy going on. So that's kind of what we do. And what we wanted to do was wow the crowd and leave them going, "I've never seen anything like that." That's why we dress up. That's why we put on the show. And when I say put on the show, I mean we bring sparklers, smoke machines, and it's not just a normal smoke machine you get at the 13-year-old birthday party.
Yes.
It's a smoke machine where the heads go like this, and so it sprays smoke like this up towards the ceiling. And the sparklers aren't a normal sparkler you would get at a restaurant on your birthday. It's like we're talking about a machine that shoots sparks up towards the ceiling as well,
Yes.
At one point, our lead guitarist shoots sparks at the front of his guitar. And these are all aspects that we put into the show to really drive home that we want to entertain you.
Yes.
That's really it. That's why they call it a rock show. You come for the rock music, but there's a show aspect.
Yes, and I have to say, just through the way that you speak, I want to experience that. I want to so where are you guys from?
We're based in Cape Town.
Okay.
South Africa, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where are you from?
From Cape Town, South Africa?
We're based in Cape Town, South Africa. The band originated down here. Marene and myself moved to Johannesburg for a few years. So while we were up there, the band was traveling between the two cities. But now we're back in Cape Town, and that's why we put out the EP. We're finally back with the guys here in Cape Town. We're able to rehearse more, write more, and record more. So that's kind of what we're doing.
Yes. Because why I'm asking, because next time, whether I'm in Cape Town or you guys is in Johannesburg, I want to experience this. I've never, like you said, the normal rock band, they just go on the stage and stuff, but just the way you speak about it's so inviting.
Thank you. As a 7-year-old kid, I remember the first time I ever saw a band called Kiss, and it was in a Scooby-Doo episode that was on TV at the time. And there was something about these characters in face paint that went, well, that's interesting. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yes.
And then when I actually, for Christmas that year, got a Kiss CD from my parents, I listened to the music, and I really liked the music. But the first time I went on YouTube and searched up what Kiss were like live was the moment I went, that's what I want to do with my life.
Yes.
And that's basically what we've been sort of moving towards ever since. It's been very difficult to find like-minded people, because a lot of the time, it's like going to not the aquarium, but going to a pet shop and buying a fish. You're gonna have a lot of fish die on you before you find the right fish for your fish tank.
Taking care of your fish rock.
No, but I'm saying that that it's difficult to find the right musicians, because a lot of them you're going to lose along the way while you're chasing the dream. But eventually you're going to find the right musicians that make the dream happen. You know, that's the difference. There's a dream does not become reality until you put the work in.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned that 17 years for the song. What was
I was 17 years old at the time, so it's only been about 8 years.
But nevertheless, like, what was the inspiration behind this song?
Behind Finchy. So when I was in school at the time, as I would have been at 17 years old, I had recently moved to a brand new school. My parents had relocated to a new town, and so I went to a new school. And I used to go to originally a very religious and strict school, and then I moved over to a super liberal. There was no school uniform. There was no boundaries in terms of what your relationships would be with your teachers. So like we called our teachers by their first names, and it was like super relaxed and whatever. Anyways, for me, as coming from a super strict, highly religious school into that was quite shocking in terms of the people that you meet. And this was the first time I ever came into contact with what would be described as an alternative girl. And so Finchy is really about me sort of discovering what an alternative girl is for the first time, because before then, the only girls' school I was interacting with were like, nuns.
Yes, yeah.
Well, they weren't really nuns, but you know what I mean. It was like your hair was this long and your nails were this long and you wore your skirt down past your knees and so on and so forth. And then I went to a school where it was a case of there's this girl that has shaved hair and she's got dyed hair, and that it was just like completely different to what I had known before. And so that sort of thing of like, what, people like this exist?
Yes.
Drew me to go home that night and write a song. I knew nothing about them. All I knew was their name and what they looked like, and that's how it was. White sneakers, short dyed hair, a broken heart I could never bear. That was the way the lyrics came from.
Yes.
It's actually a very shallow song because the lyrics just describe what they look like, and then it just goes on to make up the rest effectively to fit the narrative of what I wanted from a person at that point, a partner at that point, which as a 17-year-old, you don't really know what you want. You just kind of think with your eyes. And so that's what inspired Finchy, and that's where Finchy comes from in a time of my life.
Okay, interesting. And were there like any challenges with this song that you guys brought out?
Well, the biggest challenge with the song is the fact that, we're releasing this song 6 months before Marene and I get married.
Okay.
So it really is a interesting one. A lot of people say, why are you putting this out if why are you pining for some other person? But it's really not like that. It's actually more of a snapshot of where I was in a time in my life. And for me, it was one of those songs where I felt that if I never put it out, I would never know
Absolutely.
what the song would do. If that makes sense?
Yes.
It's like, I know it's a weird analogy to make, but it's a case of like, what if Queen never released Bohemian Rhapsody,
Yes.
They would never have the response they have now. And so as a ballad and as sort of one of the best ballads I kind of wrote, I said, I've been sitting on this for long enough. Let's put it out there. Let's get it out there and see what happens.
And it's strangely enough, like you mentioned, Queen, it's like normally, maybe I'm wrong, I'm not the music artist, but sometimes it's like one of those songs that's taking a while to get it out, and then once it's out, the people they're familiar with it, and then all of a sudden that song just like hit that note, and then it just like go from there.
It's happened to a few bands, Ghost being one of them. They have that song Mary on a Cross, which became quite big on social media, I think like 2 or 3 years after it was released.
Yeah.
So it became that trend. Most people know when you sing it as you go down just like on a Mary on a cross. Whatever. It was all over social media at one point, and that's now their biggest song, even though 99.999% of their music sounds nothing like that.
Yes, yeah. Now, is there like memorable moments, with this song, or throughout you guys' journey, that's like standing out for you guys?
Well, I think that the recording process was pretty fun. Marene and myself, you remember doing backing vocals for that, which was quite fun. Right at the end of the song, there is a part where it sounds like there's a whole bunch of people that join in on the singing. And that's just Marene and myself standing in a room with a microphone in the middle.
Standing in different corners every take, and like standing in front of each other, behind each other.
There's like, about 30 takes of us.
Impersonating different people.
Yeah, one with a British accent, one with an American accent, one with a foot accent, so on and so forth. We're just trying to be like a crowd of people, but it's just the two of us. So, right at the end, it's, "Bench it, don't blame me." It's just us.
Okay, no, that's. I think that can be sounds like a memorable moment. That's one.
Yeah, well, again, it comes down to the fact that we were in Joburg by ourselves, and we did all the vocals up there. The instrumentation was done in Cape Town. So, now that we're back, it's so much nicer to have some more musicians available for backing vocals. We just put out a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne, Paranoid, and that was really cool to do because we had the lead guitarist Arian, who also has a great voice, do some backing vocals on that with me and Marene, and so it's good. Came out quite nice and powerful. It's like I said, it's always nice having another voice in the mix.
Yes, absolutely. It's like because there's like that extra element that's creating like that special magic.
I've always loved the idea that musicians, you're not just playing a song, you're putting your fingerprints on it. And there's nothing better than a vocal fingerprint, because that's not just, your voice is an instrument, right? And when you lend that to a song, your voice will never be that way ever again. Your voice is always changing because it's a muscle.
Yes.
So when you record your voice on an album or on a song, you are taking a audio snapshot of what you sounded like at that moment.
I've never.
And that's why it's so cool.
I've never thought of it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of people give artists a lot of slack for the way their voice sounds now, like Vince Neil, Axl Rose, Paul Stanley of Kiss. But like they say, is if you want to hear how I sounded in 1982, go put on a record from 1982.
Yeah.
This is how I sound now.
Yes. So you guys mentioned wedding. So how did that happen? Like,
first of all,
it was before the band.
It was before the band. Marene and myself have been in a relationship since the C-word pandemic.
Let's rather not mention that name, otherwise we don't want to test Murphy again.
Yes, exactly, that's it. Anyway, so that's the one bat that Ozzy didn't eat. Anyways, during the C-word pandemic, I was busy doing cover songs and putting them up on Facebook and Instagram of different artists that I liked, and I was recording all of the instrumentation and then doing the vocals for it. And what happened is Marene was in another band, and I said to her, "Would you like to feature on one of the songs?" And she said yes, she would. And so I drove all the way out to her side of the country, which was about an hour and a half's drive, to go and record her during the lockdowns. And people might say, like, how did you get away with traveling during the lockdowns? Is I had a special pass because I worked in the pet industry, which meant that I had a special pass to travel around. So I was traveling around when there were no cars on the road. It was great because there was no traffic, and I was going to go see friends illegally. So don't tell the government that, but it'll just be a personal little secret between you, me, and all the listeners. But anyways, back to the story. So I took all my musical gear to Marene's place, and I recorded her singing and me singing a duet on a song. And then, I spent the day with her, and I said, I really like this girl. And so I thought up a sly plan. I said to myself, how are we going to get this girl to your side of town? And how are you going to be able to spend more time with her during COVID lockdown? So I spun a story, and I told her that the recordings that we used at her place we couldn't use them because her room didn't sound right. So she needed to come all the way to my side of town so that we can record it properly. And then I also told her that, no, it's fine, that when she's out here, we'll have some fun. We'll go for coffee and we'll take a walk on the beach or whatever, So that's what I did. And then so I drove in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning to go and fetch her. And I got to her around about 8 o'clock. I actually got there early and drove around the block for like half an hour. And then I transported her all the way back to my side of town. And we went for breakfast. And then we started recording, and I took her back in the evening. So I probably did about 6 hours of the driving that day. So it felt like.
He's being dramatic.
And it was probably like 4 hours of driving.
It was probably like...
Because of 1 hour there, 1 hour back, 1 hour there, 1 hour back. It was 4 hours. Anyway, so after I spent that time with her, she played me one of her songs while I was sitting in a room, and it was really cool. I really liked it. It was called Beyond the Night Sky. And so I said to her, I really want to record the song because it's such a great song.
Yes.
And so the next weekend I came to fetch her again and brought her back to my studio. And we put out a demo for it.
Because the sound is much better there.
Sounded much better by my place, And then about 2 weeks later after that, I asked her to be my girlfriend, And 4 years down the line, April this year, I said, would you like to be my wife? And she said yes. So
cool. The pros and cons.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's sort of the story. But Beyond the Night Sky, if you want to listen to that song, is actually on our second EP called Afterlife. It is I think it's the second song on that EP. So yeah.
The one that you guys recorded. Okay, no, great. And how did you what was running through your mind when you heard that he was saying, okay, no, the sound sounds better at his place instead of...
I was worried more about what my mother was going to say, because I'm from a very conservative Afrikaans family. So going to strangers' houses was going to happen only if his body was dead in our front garden after my dad had finished with him.
Well, the funny thing is that not only did I have to give my proof of address, my blood sample, stool sample, urine sample, and ID number, and
social security number,
and credit card details to her mother. I also had to hand over my mother's cell phone number to her mother before I could take her anywhere.
But it is like nowadays there's so much going on, and at the end of the day, it's like a little bit understanding from a parent's point, because and it was COVID, so it was like, okay, if something happened, okay. But
you said the C word, it's banned.
Oh yeah.
No, it's the C word, yes.
Oh, I'm pulling it back. Yep. So.
It was a yes.
No, you can carry.
I was just going to say it was a different time.
Yes, no. Well, let me rather pull it back. Yeah. So with Finchy that's is out, and what is your future plans during the further down in the future, events and projects and stuff?
Sure. Well, let's talk about it. So, coming up now in September, we as a band are going to be putting on a Ozzy Osbourne tribute show in Cape Town CBD. It's going to not just be a tribute to Black Sabbath, but it's going to be a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne as a solo artist, which is something I'm very excited about because, I never really got into Black Sabbath as the 70s band. I discovered Ozzy when he had big teased up permed blonde hair, and he was running around like a mad scientist on the stage. A lot of people, they know Ozzy Osbourne in the 70s and they know Ozzy Osbourne in the 90s with his straight hair and his circle glasses, so on and so forth. Yeah. I know that like Ozzy with the blonde hair like she has. So, that's kind of what I grew up on. So I'm very, very excited about doing that tribute show. When you cover another artist's songs, you learn a lot about yourself musically, and you almost grow as a musician. And so that's what I'm really excited about doing that show. And then when we're done doing the tribute show, we've got some more gigs lined up that we're planning for Stellenbosch area in Cape Town. And then after that, we're going to go in December into the studio and start writing a full-length album. One of the things that we love doing is testing the waters. And what we did on this past EP is we tested the waters with an amazing mixing engineer called Eamon Gleeson, or Gleeson. And he did a phenomenal job with the sound and the mixing. I'm sure you've heard the EP. It's got this really, really big sound. And so we were very happy with the way it sounds. And so we decided, let's do a full album. Let's go in, let's write some new songs, and let's get it mixed by Eamon and see how it comes out. So that's the plan from there. We'll probably write the tunes in December and try and record maybe around about February.
Yeah, and then the wedding as well.
Wedding is in January. The only thing about the wedding is we're going to have a very special Marene show for about 80 people at the wedding. And it's going to be, unfortunately it's invite only, but it's going to be very cool because we're going to be doing the show while she's in her white dress and I'm in my tuxedo, and got my best man on bass guitar in the band. Not Ozzy Osbourne, but Ozzy Padiachi. I've got our two flower bros. We have no kids at the wedding, so it's two flower bros. It's going to be our drummer and our lead guitarist. So yeah,
that sounds very interesting. You're bringing something like completely.
Marene said we should write a new song and record the music video there, which could be quite cool.
Yeah, yes, no, why not? Give it a try, and then you never know at the end of the day.
Oh, exactly.
But if people want to book you guys, or they just want to follow your journey, see what you are busy with up next, or events that's coming up and shows and stuff like that, where can individuals reach out to you on social media?
Well, we're pretty much on every platform. You can find us usually at Marene_live or Marene Band.
That's Marene, the extra E for entertainment.
And then, you can just look there. We try post as regularly as possible, and then you can just send us a DM if you have any questions, any bookings like that as well, just through our Instagram or any social media, to be honest.
We'll play any show. We'll even play a jazz festival.
Or an old age home.
Yeah, that's it. Whether you're too old, you're never too old for rock and roll.
Yeah.
And if it's too loud, you're too old. But if it's not loud enough, then you're still young at heart.
Yes. Somewhere along, you need to have a rock and roll moment. It's just like that. You need to have a rock and roll moment.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You can get rid of the what's that device called? Is it clear?
Oh.
I
that
think
called? Yeah, you can get rid of those, and you can just bring Marene in. We'll give your cardiac whatever the shock it needs
yes,
to get going and get the blood flowing, huh?
Absolutely, I agree with you there over there. Yeah, so thank you guys for making this time with us. And we wish you guys all the best with all the projects that you guys is busy with, and also with the plans for the wedding and stuff. May that go well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Pleasure, and we wish you guys a happy years and years of a happy marriage, and with the music as well, that you guys grow into this phenomenal music artist, and just like bringing that rock and roll alive with every year to show the public, there's something different about rock and roll. And then like do that cardiac
Clear.
So
Thank you.
no, it's a pleasure. So do you guys have like any last message or advice or something that you guys want to give to the public?
We love what we do on stage. It's our dream to be up there, and by coming out to shows and by going to and supporting your local artists, you make our dreams come true.
Absolutely. Yeah, so
support your local artists, and when it comes to Marene, we're going to give you one hell of a bang for your buck.
that's good to hear. Yeah. So there you guys have it, Marene. Follow them on social media, and if you guys want to book them and bring a different kind of rock and roll to your event or to a place, or like they say, the elderly home or wherever, Marene is your rock and roll band to go. But like they also said, support them, support the local artists, and at the end, listen to your rock and roll music. That you guys is bringing something different, and then just like at the end, just like follow your journeys, and reach out to you and say, I like this song, or something like that. As an artist, you also grow through that as well. So thank you so much for you guys for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I say pleasure.